So we're going to talk about the things I believe that are important to make a good and excellent building contractor of a business. Now, if you're not a contractor, it doesn't matter. You can listen to this too today because it's all the same game, just different players. So that being said, let's get started. First off, any great business owner cares about the customer experience. And I think the first thing that comes with customer experience is communication. Communicate, whether it be for future plans, communicate what got done. That can be verbal, can be through video, photos, all that good stuff. And you answer the questions before they get asked by the client. Even ask the questions to them that they haven't even thought about. It makes you the hero. It makes you think about, you know what you're talking about, and it makes them feel like. So it's not just, putting in cabinets or putting in flooring. You're actually calming the anxiety for a client. Now, in contractors, we're building houses. If you're any salesman of some sort, it's big dollars and you're making good money. This is anxiety for your people, your clients. They're spending lots of money. They got a lot of stress. And by helping them, we're reducing that stress. A good business owner focuses on how the customer feels about their project throughout. And that's what they're going to remember most, their experience. And they're going to remember that you had something to do with it. The other part is they have the anxiety of what needs to be done. And if you can communicate what they need to do and when they need to do it, that's going to help reduce that anxiety as well. They got paperwork. It comes down to paperwork for the bank. If you can tell them what to expect. Design. Some people just can't deal with the design. They get frustrated and concerned. But if you can help all that and improve that experience that they haven't had before, because a lot of these people are new homes, never had a new home, or even in rental, and here they are, but they're excited but scared at the same time. So remember that. Keep them informed, because people don't remember how long the project took or stuff like that. It's kind of like having a baby. You don't remember all the pain. No, I never felt any pain when I was having a baby. I got 2 daughters and 5 grandbabies, but I didn't feel nothing. But I'll tell you what, I do remember experience. And that's just kind of like that. They forget about all the details. They remember the lasting effects of it. Oh, number 2, I think is, well, I didn't put these in order. This is very important to me. And they got to keep your word. I'm a person of my word. If I say something, by golly, I mean it. Now, have I said stuff that I wish I hadn't? Absolutely. Do I say things that I had to go back and say I was wrong? Yes. But say what you do and mean what you say. And this sounds like BS to you, maybe, but it is rare. I've had people, I can remember, I've had people just lie straight to my face. And I'm not even talking about renters. That's a whole different category. If you're a renter, sorry, but I had a lot of experience with renters. But if you're a subcontractor and you tell me what you're going to do, then live up to it. I've had people tell me one time, I had a renter and the air conditioner was bad. And I'd like to take care of my people. I think my renters think I'm a great landlord. And because I do what I say, and I send people over to take care of things. And it was hot. It gets hot here in Missouri, humid. And they've been without an air conditioner. And the guy said, I'm going to go buy tomorrow. Okay. They didn't show up. It's like, okay. So I went back to him and said, listen, I understand you're busy. I got to get you over there to fix these people. I will do it today. Great. I'll let them know. Guess what happened? Didn't show up. Don't use him anymore. Just quit calling him. Why? Because you can't trust them. I had an electrician sometime. People call me all the time and want to know who I use. And it's like, sometimes I give it out. Sometimes I don't. Some contractors think, well, that's privileged information. Well, you know what? Your subcontractors are business people too, and they rely on referrals, and I'm a referral for them. But they know I'm not going to refer them unless they take care of me. So I had lady at church, secretary called me, Chris, who do you use for electricity? I said, well, I'll tell you what, there's a guy there right there, local, call him, he'll take care of you. So that Sunday I said, hey, how did so-and-so take care of you? Yeah, I talked to him, but he never showed up or called me back. I said, I'll tell you what, I never use that person again. I said, you give Mitchell a call. Mitchell and Kyle. Because the best thing I love about Mitchell and Kyle, they tell me what's going to happen and they show up. And you know what else? If they're not able to, they call me and tell me I'm not going to be able to make it. I know things happen. Oh, everything happens. We're humans. We live in a world of weather that can't be predicted. I love the weatherman. Hell, I guess I'm having snow on Sunday now. My thing don't say a damn thing about snow. The point being is we can't predict things that's going to happen. But neither can your client, and we need to let them know. Neither can your subs. Get those that trust you, as you trust them, and your clients can feel more confident. Oh, what else we got going on here? I got my third on my list. You got to think like an owner, not like a worker. Yeah, that's sometimes it's amazing. We get in that. Well, this is how we used to do it, or this is how I did it. But you're not. You can't do it no more. You got to turn it over to somebody else. That's what a good business owner does. You got to build a system. You got to create processes. You got to have standards. You got to focus on profitability and sales. You got to focus on a team, the team structure, your next hire. I've got Roderick. He's my main man for my mentor on my business. And we've got a 12-month roadmap. I got to focus on that roadmap. I ain't got time to be focused on other stuff. That's why you got a team. You create that plan, you work that plan. You get people in place and those systems and stuff like we talked about that can work the plan for you and let you focus on the bigger picture. Let them focus on the job in front of them and you focus on building your business. Number 4, your reputation. Reputation, I've talked about this. I want people talking about me. If people ain't talking about you, then you're not top of mind. We love hearing about people. Now, we don't want bad reputation. We want good reputation. We want good talk about Chris G. We want good talk about you. We want good talk about your business. It's the bad ones that people love talking about. That's why we watch the news. We love watching bad news all day long. The good news you don't hear the Good News Network. Good News Network wouldn't make no money. That's why the grapevine is so positive or so negative sometimes. But, we don't want those negative things. We want positive information going out. And our reputation is part of that. How can you overcome some of those things? Well, hell, be honest. That's the biggest one. Tell people the truth. If you can't make it today, tell them I can't make it. That guy I told earlier, if he said, Chris, I'm so busy, I just can't make it today. I understand. Either I'll make a different plan or I'll explain it to the client, but they're going to understand. But telling them you're showing up and then you're not showing up, that just pisses them off. It makes me mad. It makes me look bad. And it sure heck makes you look bad. And for Chris G, I ain't coming back. Don't lie to me. It can't handle it. But honesty goes a long ways. What else can you do? Well, you can plan for problems. They're going to happen no matter what. Something's going to happen. I plan for contingencies because I don't want to have to go back to the client and nickel and dime them. I want to be able to overcome that problem. And sometimes that's just my problem that I forgot something, but I got it built in, know what's going to happen. But then you look like the hero, not the zero. When you got a plan right in place, come to those people with solutions. If you have a problem, you don't go and say, damn, this ain't going to work out. You go and say, hey, something changed, but here's what we're going to do. Doesn't that sound a lot better to you? Does me. You know that, oh, Chris G here, he's got going on. And, yeah, things happen, but he's human. You're human, but you got a plan in place that your people, your clients realize that, I got the right person on my team because they're taking care of it. I don't have to worry. Also, ways of protecting your reputation is letting them know what's going on and what you're going to do next. Here's how we're going to handle it. Those are the solutions I talked about. So protect your reputation. I think that's very important. Oh, building the business is very important to me. And this next one, while I love it a lot, and some people just don't, but we understand our numbers. I'm a numbers guy through and through. My business professor in college, he tried to convince me to be an accountant. I was like, no. But see, accountant is different than being a business accountant because we have to think outside the box and how to read forms and stuff. We're not talking about doing the debits and the credits and all that stuff, balance that checkbook. No. That's important. Don't get me wrong. But that's not for you, the CEO, to think about. We want you to be able to read those stuff. You know where you're at. We do actual estimated stuff. We know our numbers. We want to look at it and say, okay. So one of the policies we have is that, if a job's being invoiced and we're comparing actual estimated, if we're making X amount of profit, I don't need to do the job. But if it doesn't meet our standard of profit, I want to see what's going on. So one time, and this was Well, I couldn't understand. I had a concrete bill, and we broke it down. We were looking at the actual cost, and my concrete was high. It's like, man, I mean, I've messed up some things, but I've never lost money on concrete because there's a formula. My sub knows, here's how I'm going to bill you. I know how they're going to bill me. I had my markup to it. I was losing money. It's like, what the hell happened? Well, we didn't, there's a change order made. We poured an apron out front of the garage that no one told me about. Now we've solved that problem because now we've got a change order process, program, system, whatever you want to call it, that we get notified. And now we know the bill for that. But I wouldn't have known that they got that until I looked at my actual versus estimated and figuring out why I didn't make my percentage on my concrete that I usually do. I want you to do the same thing. In old businesses that I've run before, county department, the invoicing department, they knew Chris wants to see this if we're losing money. You damn right I want to see it. I want to know why. Because there's a difference between losing money on the job and losing money on your income statement. The income statement's a big old picture. You know, you can see it. If you're making money overall, that's great. But the income statement, your invoice is just a mini income statement when you think about it. But it's a mini income statement for that job itself. Look at that. And you don't have to go watch everybody. Let somebody be responsible for bringing it to you when they know that the standard is not being met. And then you can help get with the right department manager, whoever it is. Now, in my particular example, we figured out that, oh, we need to have a change order system. Now I have that. And it's very helpful. It saves lots of money. It's one of those profit leaks we always try to avoid. But I just couldn't understand why. It actually makes you feel pretty good when you don't get those invoices coming to you where you lost money. So that way, when you get that report, whether you're looking at your weekly, monthly income statement, however you want to look at your income statement, you're going to know why it is. Now, I haven't done it yet. Now I'm thinking about it since I'm pondering today with you guys. I might just tell them, say, if you're making over a certain amount, I want to see that job too. Why? Well, it could be that those are very efficient and help us identify those types of jobs and tell myself that, hey, another one come to these, I want that job no matter what. Or could be that I'm overpriced on that job in the market and that somebody can come in. You always got to watch yourself. You're making too much profit. Someone can always come in and undercut you. And I'm not talking about, we've had this conversation before about dropping the price. I don't want you to drop the price. I want to make sure the value is there for the price you're charging. That's all said now. We've had that conversation before, and I'm not going to beat that drum today. We're going to move on to being a better business person. Next one is we build people, not just projects. We build that team because we understand that those guys are the most important to you. You're not going to grow. Business isn't growing without a team. Just not going to happen. And you got to build, and you don't want to get lax in it because if you're not building, you're not growing. And those things become lax and you get comfortable and then you lose. Now, when you build a person or build a team, you got to remember, you got to train them. You got to set their standards. Looks like that profit standard that I got to have. You got to set your standards. You got to communicate the expectations. And all that's important, but most important is these next two. You got to give them authority to make those decisions. You can tell somebody to do something all day long, but they don't feel like they have the power to make choices, or they're scared about the repercussions of what you're going to say later. No. Now, you got to hold them responsible too. They got to know that Chris G might come ask about how this went, or you set up a way that you can look at it and say, hey, that went really well. I guess lastly, I got to remember, you always got to praise people. I haven't done it lately. I need to, but I used to have pennies. And I used to carry 5 pennies in my pocket. And my goal for the day was you put it in the right pocket, you walk around, and that's called the management walking around, and you praise. And every time you praise somebody, you take a penny, put it in your left pocket. The goal at the end of the day is that the right pocket be empty and your left pocket be full. It becomes a habit. People like hearing praise. Now, don't just be praising. Give them legitimate reasons, because people can realize that you're not being sincere. Oh, Chris, he's just trying to get that penny out of the pocket. No. I mean what you say. Remember that reputation? Remember that word that you're saying? Mean it. Give them specific examples why you're happy and what they did great. Oh, that reputation goes internal too. Being a good leader, passing that comfort on. That reputation goes internal as well, not just external for your customers. You got your internal clients. And I got my last one. You thought probably I'd never make it this far, but yes, I got the last one to bring up. And that's playing the long game. Now, some of y'all might not like Donald Trump. Some of you might love him. But I'm telling you what, that booger's a hell of a businessman. And he plays the long game. He plays that short-term pain for the long-term gain. He knows. And we're not doing just a construction business. We're doing a relationship business. I'm sure y'all have heard of McDonald's. McDonald's isn't just a hamburger joint. They're a real estate business. And you think about that. When someone told me that, they got the most prime real estate all across the United States. And if they went out of business today, not selling hamburgers, they got a fortune in real estate. Now, that hamburger joint helped build that fortune. Don't get me wrong. But the point being is that just like McDonald's don't do hamburgers, just like we don't necessarily build houses, we build relationships. Today, we're talking about relationships not with the end user, which that's very important. We're talking about relationships with bankers today, real estate agents, stuff like that, where people are going to refer us over. My buddy Mitch, shout out to Mitch if you're up there. I send stuff to him all the time on very specific types of loans. But he's not the only lender I send to. I have my people for those. I talked to Nick the other day. Nick's my dirt man. I said, Nick, I'll tell you what, I don't always send people to you. I don't always use you. He goes, Chris, I appreciate that because Nick has dozers. There's some jobs that I don't need Nick over here. It costs Nick a lot of money to take that dozer over there. But, I don't need Nick for that job. I got other people that are more specific. So I like to share the wealth, but I also make sure that the job lines up with the person that I'm sending it to. People appreciate that. But that long-term plan, I got long-term relationships every time. So you got your relationships are not only your clients. You got a team. That's your internal team. You got your clients. Yeah, that's very important. You got your subcontractors. And let's don't forget our suppliers. If you can't get your materials there, or you can't count on the quality materials, you guys have windows. And apparently there's one window, apparently the other day, it got installed 2 months ago. The damn seal broke, and it's got the moisture on the inside. What did I do? Client said, hey, I got this window. I said, no problems, under warranty. Take care of it right away. Called Aaron. Aaron said, yep. What is it? I told him what it was. We'll have it there. I'll order it right away. And we'll install it by Friday. Perfect. Today's Thursday, if you didn't anybody know. But he's going to take care of it tomorrow. And best part, I don't got to go do nothing. Now, it happened to be one of my friends. And I probably shouldn't have took the call. I should have let Elizabeth handle it because I'm telling you that that's not priority. But when it comes to friends, my man, Ron's got to get taken care of. And that's important too, because relationships are important, especially with your personal friends and family. So to sum this all up, at the end of the day, the bigger truth, none of these 7 things I brought up there are complicated. They're rare. That's for damn sure. And it sounds funny, but people you talk to anybody, go to church, at your social medias, or hell, read Facebook. The good, bad, and ugly. I'm sure you guys have one in your area. They're going to talk about people all day long. But also the goods on there too. They're going to talk about you being good. What's most important, and the big truth is that being a business owner, you got to require patience. It's going to require discipline. That's one of the most important ones. And leadership. Now, leadership is the glue that holds everything together. That leadership holds everything together while we build those systems, while we build our teams, while we build that trust, and we improve and broadcast our reputation. All this over time is through consistency. Now, one of my other coaches, my responsibility coach, he drives me. He doesn't drive me crazy. He just drives me because I know he's going to ask questions when I have a meeting. Alan talks about this consistency, and he's always bringing up this damn snowball. And the snowball, he likes drawing pictures on his little monitor. That snowball goes downhill. But guess what? When it goes downhill, it gets bigger too. And we want to get bigger. We want to become a snowball, definitely not headed for hell, but we want a snowball that's definitely getting bigger, encompassing more people, making your business bigger. That all said, everybody, please hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you like what we talked about today, if you think you want to be a bigger business, better business leader, and you want to talk about it, hell, reach out to me. All that good stuff, that's on our website, hardhatandceo.com.